Hello there, my fifth graders. I want to share this video with you on what you're going to be learning about in the next few weeks. In your My Book workbooks, we're going to be looking at Module 3, and it's all about natural disasters. And within this module, you're going to be reading and reviewing sections about different types of natural disasters. So as I am talking about this, kind of activate what you know about natural disasters. What are natural disasters? And look at this quote here. Yes, a dark time passed over this land, but now there is something like light. Dan Eggers. So kind of think about the different natural disasters that are out there and what can you do to be safe during the natural disasters? All right, so I'm going to go and click on my next page. I'm going to keep going. And just so you know, I'm going to be sending out weekly videos over the text that you're going to be reading. The videos are included. You can watch the videos on your own, but in reading these, you're going to have to be able to respond to the different texts. So this particular video here, and it should be sent to you through your HMH account, how can learn about natural disasters make us safer? So you're going to watch this video on your own. So make sure you do that. And here are some academic vocabulary you need to be familiar with as you are going through this particular module. Notable is an adjective. There's your meaning, there's your sentence in context, spontaneous, tremor, hazard. And you don't have to do this now, but it'll be for good practice. Create a word map with all of these words to help you understand the meanings better. And make sure, pay attention to the parts of speech for each word. Okay? So there's a little caption there. Kind of look at that. And this is something to see. And these are things that probably have happened in, in different parts of the world. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going. And I'm going to go ahead and take you to the story, well, the text rather, that you're going to be reading. All right. And it's called Eruption, Volcanoes and the Science of Saving Lives. So this particular genre is a narrative nonfiction. So it's giving you factual information by telling a true story. So kind of think about those movies that are based on a true story. So if you kind of read through the bullet points here, narrative fiction, authors present events in sequential or chronological order. Doing so helps readers understand when events happen and how they're connected. Narrative nonfiction often include visuals such as photos. You're going to see a lot of those in your text. Captions, which gives you specific information, more details about the text. It helps you understand the text better. Text written about events related to science or such studies may also include words that are specific to the topic. So when you are reading through this, make sure you are filling in all the information you need to fill in. So look at this prompt here and make sure you are responding in your book or either online. Think about the genre and title of this text. What do you know about volcanoes? What do you want to learn? Write your ideas below. And make sure you finish that part, and here are your critical vocabulary words. And remember, if you click on these or even read them in your books, it's giving you more information about each term. And here's your author. Read about the author because you may come across more than one piece of work from that particular author. So read about your author. So I'm going to go ahead and click on to the next page. So here's your first page, Eruption. I'm going to only read a few pages to you so you can become comfortable with this, because at the end you have a couple of writing exercises you need to do in order to complete this. And I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to give you a quiz, but the main thing is I want you to read and respond to questions and writing prompts. Okay, so this is all about volcanoes, eruption. So we're going to kind of look at how this particular text is organized. Okay? So just kind of keep volcanoes in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading, and then I'm going to do a couple of think alouds and question and answers based on what I'm reading. When the Colombian volcano Navarro del Ruiz erupted in 1985, United States Geological Survey USGS scientist Andy Lockhart was horrified by the tragedy. A year later, he became one of the earliest members of a volcano crisis team called the Volcano Disaster Assistance Program, DVAP. The DVAP's mission is to bring equipment and knowledge to areas threatened by volcanoes in order to protect eruptions and prevent catastrophes. 6 years after the program started, Chris Newhall, another VDAP scientist, got a call about steaming shooting from Mount Pinatubo, a mountain in the Philippines. Until this happened, most people thought Mount Pinatubo was a huge jungle-covered mountain, not a volcano. Chris knew it was serious. He and his team had to do something. He and fellow VDAP scientists Andy Lockhart and Rick Holblit set out to try to predict Mount Pinatubo's next move. They worked from Clark Air Base, very close to the volcano. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a think aloud here. So reading this introduction, and I'm kind of, going to go on a prediction that I'm going to look at details in the text, and the pictures are going to help me understand if everything they're saying about volcanoes are true, and what can I do to protect myself if I ever be in the midst of a volcano eruption. All right? And what people should be doing if they live near a volcano. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and keep reading. On May 28th, Chris got a new gas reading from Mount Pinatubo's sulfur dioxide. Had jumped tenfold to 5,000 tons a day. The volcano was definitely ramping up. A few days later, instruments recorded 2 unusual earthquakes. A shallow, continuous, rhythmic shaking known as a low-frequency earthquake meant magma was moving towards the surface and releasing more gas. Then the seismographs recorded the first earthquake directly under the vent. Over the next few weeks, the volcano spat steam higher and higher into the sky. The plume changed color from white to gray. So kind of keep that in mind as you are reading this, okay? Then the volcano began shooting rock and ash, but the geologists tested the ash and found no sign of fresh lava. The steam explosion were just tossing up old material. Would the volcano erupt, or would it just spit steam until it slipped back into dormancy? If you're not sure what the term dormancy means, if you look down at the bottom of your page, you have dormancy, a period during which a volcano is temporarily inactive. Seismographs, definition, are instruments that measure and record details about earthquakes, such as their strength and how long they last. So I'm looking at this, and the question that I want to kind of point out, what structure does the author use at the beginning of this text? So this is time, order, sequence. My clues, May 28th, I'm highlighting that. A few days later, I'm highlighting that. Time, order, or chronological, keep that in mind. So I'm looking through again. Any other words that may hint this is time, order? Then, over the next few weeks. Another word, then. And these things you can do also as you are going through this video and reviewing it. All right? So, looking at this, It's giving me dates. It's giving me time order words that's telling me that this is sequential order or time order. You're going to hear those terms a lot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. Then the sulfur dioxide plummeted from 5,000 tons to 1,300 tons to 260 a day. This could mean the volcano was settling down, or could it mean the volcano's vent was clogged with pressure building? Andy and the other scientists watched the seismograph around the clock. They saw bigger quakes, longer quakes, and a harmonic tremor, a constant humming earthquake that often means magma is rising and boiling away groundwater. All right, so you have a 2 next to that word groundwater. Make sure you look at your footnotes to help you understand. It's down here at the bottom here. The Americans and Filipinos each had their own alert level systems. The VDAP scientists debated, was it time to raise the alert level to 3, high and increasing unrest? Eruption possible in 2 weeks? Ray, the head of the Filipino geologists, would need time to spread any warning to people scattered in villages around Pinatubo. He raised his alert to level 3, eruption possible in 2 weeks. About 10,000 members of the Arta tribes were moved to evacuation camps. The quakes accelerated. Magma moving along the conduit was shaking the ground deep in the earth and quite near the surface. More and more steam and ash poured from cracks in the volcano called fumaroles. The volcanologists estimated the size of magma chamber, the reservoir of melted rock and gas under the volcano, and the potential size of the eruption. The eruption could be 10 times larger than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens, which was bigger than any living geologist had ever seen. Military officers listened intently to the geologists' briefings. At the end of one, Major General William Stutter asked, "What do you do?" The scientists asked, move dependents off the base. The officers relocated pregnant women and the elderly. The Air Force newspaper and TV station began broadcasting details of an evacuation plan, what to bring and where to go. So remember, key terms down here at the bottom: groundwater, Atta tribe, conduit, volcanologist. Those are terms that will help you understand the text better. Also, too, you have evacuation, reservoir. Keep those terms in mind. So here's a question here. What are some content area words in paragraph 7, and how might you understand the meaning? So everyone, when you are looking at this, highlight the term harmonic tremor. So with that, this is a term for a specific type of earthquake. So I can add a note in here. This is a term that, refers to a specific type of tremor. So kind of keep those things in mind. So something else. The volcanologists or the scientists, they are predicting that this earthquake, this volcano is going to get worse before it gets better. So I'm kind of looking through this, and I am going to highlight this entire paragraph here, only because the scientists are giving instructions. I'm going to go ahead and add a note, if it lets me. The scientists are giving Instruction.